So first, I think a lot of people here are probably not sold on the idea of the remake.
Probably a lot of people here are not sold on the remake.
But here's what you said in the tweet a while back.
Who was you? Who were you referring to?
Bruce, sorry. Believe in the remake, dog. The project is real, in the works, cool as hell, scary as hell. Can you elaborate on that and maybe sell us on the remake?
I don't need to do jack shit. Honestly, I'll tell you, part of it is we sat back and we watched every other horror franchise going through 8, 9 versions, sequels, remakes of the sequels of the remakes. It's getting so ridiculous that we've got investors who are dying now this project has been around so long. And we wanted to give sort of a parting gift to them and to have a new approach at a movie that wasn't shot in 16mm where you can't see the garden hoses spewing the blood. Something where maybe we don't go digital crazy, but it's a little more sophisticated telling of not the exact same story, but a similar story. Pretty much the remake is going to be more like a different group of kids experiencing a different sort of nightmare. It's as though the book wound up in another lab of some 4 or 5 unsuspecting miserable bastards. So, you know, it's just updated. That's really all it is. We will be heavily involved in it. Sam Raimi handpicked Fede Alvarez to direct it. You can watch his work. He did a great little short movie called Panic Attack on YouTube. It's a very simple thing of robots attacking a city that he made on his own. He's a Uruguayan filmmaker. It went viral. He had studio offers within 10 days from Spielberg, from everybody. Sam Raimi made a deal with him to develop another movie entirely about aliens attacking the world that they're still developing. But in the meantime, this script came up, and Sam handpicked him. So it's not like we're just tossing this thing out and farting out a sequel, you know, or a remake. It'll be kind of a handmade movie with a young filmmaker who is more experienced than we were when we made the first one. We'll be casting more experienced actors than we had. So I don't see how it could be any worse.
I'd like to talk about this experienced actor thing.
None of us were experienced during the first Evil Dead, myself included. But that's the whole point. We'll be getting actors who hopefully are not known, like the first Evil Dead, so that you won't prejudge them. Whatever.
Thank you. Who said that?
So that's it.
Thank you. I'll give you some money. How about the hat? Striped shirt, yeah.
Since we're on the idea of the new Evil Dead and the new characters, would you guys want a hand in help picking the new rendition of your own characters?
We don't have currently there's no person-for-person correlation that you can make. There's no
I think
Ash.
Shelley probably.
There's no Ash in the remake.
I would like to discuss this a little bit, because I have a daughter who's an actress. I've been nudging Bruce about this for weeks.
Does she like trees?
So, her name is Bud, but she's a budding actress. Yes, thank you. No, and actually, don't you think it would be cool if my daughter, the NYU trained actress, played my role or played a role in the film? Okay, so all 50 people here think that it should happen, so it should happen. I'm just saying.
I'd like to ask another question. How much of HD?
You're just plowing ahead, aren't you?
How much of HD Lovecraft work was influential in the first?
Well, when I first wrote the script for Evil Dead, I said to myself, what influence could I use? H.P. Lovecraft? A little of this, a little of that. How about that, sir? Because you're asking a question that nobody here is qualified to answer.
I brought up the H.P. Lovecraft, not H.G., that's H.G. Lewis, the other guy. But I brought up the Lovecraft thing and mentioned that the Book of the Dead was similar to the Necronomicon, although I really don't like it being called the Necronomicon because that's Lovecraft's creation. Mine it's something else.
What would you call yours?
Tom Sullivan's Book of the Dead.
Nice.
And, Sam, I don't think was all that familiar with Lovecraft. I know he hadn't read anything, at least at that point. And there was another link with Equinox, the film, because there's, a couple of kids on the cabin in the woods and being torn apart by supernatural forces. There's an evil book in it that is kind of described in the script, similar to Sam's book in the script. It's ancient, some kind of animal skin with some letters from it.
White glove.
Yeah, white glove. Let's go with that.
How did the trees get brought up? I've heard people say that scene was a mistake. I think there was an interview with Sam Raimi who said that scene was a mistake. What do you guys think, and how did the shoot?
It was a big fucking mistake.
But how can that be a mistake? Oops, I didn't mean to rape her with a tree. I mean, what? I don't know about that one.
I would say mistake isn't the word. I would say, well, it wasn't necessarily initially meant to have the sexual component as far as I knew, or as far as it said in the script. It just kind of evolved, right, Bruce?
I think it did, because I don't think in the original draft there was moaning and legs going, oi, oi, oi.
No, I think in the script it said, Cheryl is attacked by the trees. I'm like, okay, I can do that.
Next thing she knew, vines were wrapping around her boot.
I didn't think anybody was ever going to see it. What did I care?
My kids will never see this movie.
During the beginning of Evil Dead 2 down in Wadesboro, we screened Evil Dead for the entire crew, so everybody kind of who hadn't seen it would be up to speed on it. And I sat next to Sam Raimi, and when the tree rape scene came up, he planted his head in his hands and said, "Why did I turn it into pornography?" That might answer it. Here's one right from dead front.
How about a reality show where all the original cast members of Evil Dead live in the same house?
Cabin. You're talking about a cabin. A reality
Right.
show where all the original Evil Dead cast members live in a cabin. Yeah, you just don't get your day job there. Yes, over here on the side.
Mr. Campbell, could you explain the process of creating an image of terror on your face over and over?
Can I explain that process? Like how stand-ups are. How would you do it? If I said,
That's perfect.
that's basically it.
That's it.
Holy shit, that was good. That kind of freaked me out a little bit.
I think he could be in the remake.
Wait a second.
I think so.
With Ellen's daughter. Only this time the guy gets raped by the tree. Everybody's an actor. Okay, yes, Stripey.
Stand up straight.
Please stand up, please.
Are you standing?
It was just unnecessary,
It's a
wasn't
legitimate question.
it? Seriously, are you standing?
I was wondering, Betsy, how long it took you to practice your evil laugh?
It didn't take long at all because it's something of an innate talent.
Now, Betsy and Tom, you guys can address this. When you were the Cupid doll at one point, but when we first filmed you, you were more of like a gray-faced horror hag that I dragged out of because we shot it on a sequence.
That's right.
I think us dragging you out was the first thing we filmed of that.
And we had the
And it was a
mask on.
different beast, and so later you were more like a Cupid doll. So I wonder what that evolution was.
Well, go ahead, Tom.
Okay, well, originally, the idea was there are black veins radiating out from her eyes, and she's got that pasty face and the white eyelids, or that, the white eyelids, and her eyeballs, I guess. And
Those are
the
under the
concept became later that the characters were going to be more or less caricatures of their characters, where Cheryl is the whiny, unhappy witch, as it were.
I see.
That was based on the Dick Smith, the Exorcist makeup, and And then you became the radiated out black vein thing, and because you're so beautiful, we had to sweeten your skin. And Betsy became the idealized girlfriend of Ash, because he's so shy with her. You know, Scotty and Shelley just peeled him off, you know, slam ham. But Ash
Okay.
these expressions.
Let me go ahead and answer your question.
And so she was going to be the idealized. And I made a cast of.
I'm gonna go ahead and answer your question. And I believe last century you asked me, how long did it take to get that amazing laugh? And yeah, it wasn't long at all because I actually have a high-pitched voice, except early in the morning. And so I did. It is true. Bruce is correct that at the very beginning, you'll look carefully, but for one of the first times he drags me across the room, I have a latex mask on. And I went home that night because it itched and it just was really bothersome and I hated making a mask and I said, something's got to change here. So I actually went to Sam one night and I said, Sam, I'd like to discuss the character of Linda. And I said, I think Linda should go even sweeter and sicklier sweeter than she already is supposed to be, which was Bruce's girlfriend, like, yeah, let's go that way. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. To me, is already obnoxious. So he listened to me and we talked about it, and I said, if we take the mask off and we just try and draw a porcelain baby doll, and I'll try and make my voice higher. He says, well, let me hear it. I went, well, I could just do something like this. And this is truly what happened. And Sam was in the corner going, no, that's good. That's how it happened. That's true. Because I just did not want to wear that mask. So.
Somebody came to our table yesterday and has that laugh as their ringtone.
It's you. It's you.
Hey, your phone's ringing.
I didn't know that.
Yes, right
I
here.
remember painting, the makeup was painted on it, except for the last final shots. Yeah.
If you all have a chance to be in the reboot and get killed off at the beginning, would you do it?
You'll have to ask these fine cast members here.
Yeah, I'm asking.
Do I have to take off my top?
I think it depends on the method of death. I mean, if it's trees,
What about you, Alan? Screw that. Would you be in the reboot? Where did that stupid name come from, reboot? Let's reboot it. We're not rebooting anything.
Are you done?
No, I'm not done, as a matter of fact. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd do it. If they paid me enough.
Exactly. Yes, sir.
So is the cabin still around and up for rental?
The original cabin is burned down. It is on private property in Morristown, Tennessee. Do not try and find the cabin. You will be shot in the ass with buckshot. This is rural Tennessee. Get off my fucking property. That's how that works. I was at a book signing in Schaumburg, Illinois. The guy comes, puts a big rock down in front of me. He's started doing that laugh. So I'm like, okay, A, why are you laughing like that? B, what is this rock? He goes, don't you know where that's from? No, I don't know where that's from. Perhaps a quarry somewhere? No, man, that's from the cabin. That's from the fireplace, man. He's like Dennis Hopper, you know. And he stole a brick from the fireplace because he found out where the cabin was. Bad idea, ladies and gentlemen. Bad idea. The property has not been developed. I've been there recently. It's just the chimney left. And where we buried the time capsule that Sam Raimi has hidden a secret code that unlocks the meaning of the movie. Buried in where the trap door is buried in a cigar box is a visual decoding of the movie and some other selected elements of secret props from the movie. But do not try and find that. That part is true.
That's off of
Is that not
Highway
true?
17, right?
Tom Sullivan, is there not a time capsule buried in the cellar of the original cabin?
It's absolutely true.
And what was in that time capsule?
Secrets you want to know but will never know.
Yes, over here.